Just wanted to ask you, what do you believe the attitude of the team is right now walking into this game on Friday? And do you guys take that, or are you guys aware that Minnesota is looking at this as a rematch from last season?
Nico, yeah, good question. Yeah, I mean, we certainly remember the last time they came to our place, and we expect them to remember that painful, experience for them as well. So yes, of course, but it's a new season, so they're going to want to start the new season on the right foot just as much as we do. We're at home. We would like to take the initiative if possible, but some small minor, I think, roster moves on both sides, but definitely enough players to still be around that will remember that result. But they bring a lot to the table. We know what they do bring to the table. We obviously know what they were able to do well against us in that last game. Some of those things that they may have even improved upon. So it's going to be a difficult game, but I think we're ready for it.
And Steph, just real quick, obviously you switched to a new formation. It's a formation that demands a lot from players, and yet the team was only able to get 2 preseason games that were not inner squad, and only one with an MLS team. Does that worry you at all, or what is your take on how that preseason kind of came along?
No, it doesn't worry me at all. In fact, just because we've been working on a new system doesn't mean that we'll forget all the hard work that we've done with the core of players before in a different system. So this gives us versatility, right? I think we've assessed the strengths of our squad and seen, and maybe if we can try out a new system to see whether we can harness that strength a bit better. But by no means does that mean that we're stuck in the system now. So I think we've had opportunity to explore it. We've done quite well. There's certain things we like. There's certain challenges we see with the system as well. But we're confident. We're confident that I think we've made strides. And whether it was an inner squad scrimmage or whether it was against another opponent, the few precious minutes against Portland, or even the last game against San Diego. Those were all good challenges where we were more focused really on ourselves and how we were to feel comfortable in that new formation. So I'm happy with it. I'm excited with it, and like I said, it gives us versatility. So whenever we have to adjust, I think we'll be able to adjust a little bit, and maybe you recall that a previous experience with different formations that we've had before.
Hi, Steph. Y'all will have fans at the game for the first time in over a year. What can you be specific? Like, what do you particularly like about having fans at your home crowd, or what they do that you particularly like, not just the fact that they're there?
Yeah, I think one of the beauties of this game is that there's no stoppage times. It's one of the few sports where there's a real ebb and flow to the game, and I think as a player you really feel that. You feel the pressure mounting, whether it's on you or whether you're able to exert that pressure on the opponent, and so it's a real game of ebbs and flows, and I think that the crowd really feeds off of that and also influences that a little bit. And so especially when you have obviously we're not going to be at a full house at this point, but when you have people watch the game from the outside and they realize that we're pushing that, and then maybe the levels rise up a little bit, and that adds to it. That as an opposing goalkeeper, you feel that when maybe you have to dig yourself out of a bit of a hole and you are under pressure, but you feel that, you hear that support, and you feel that support that helps as well. So it really goes hand in hand with, I think, like I said, one of the beauties of this game is that it's a game of ebbs and flows, and there is no timeouts. It's 45 minutes of trying to figure it out and exerting pressure and dealing with what the game gives you. And I think the fans play a big part in that. So I'm excited that we're able to take the first steps back towards that. And maybe it'll be a good thing to ease ourselves back into it mentally, because we've been away from crowds and from real noise for such a long time. I think it could be a sensory overload if we go straight cold cut into a 45,000 kind of scenario. So maybe this will give us a bit of a test run to kind of acclimate to this again, and then hopefully we can do it safely and increase it and get back to where we want to be with having a full house at some point.
Hey, Steph. Hope it's going well, man. First off, I think after the 2017 MLS Cup win, things didn't go quite the way you guys wanted. I think you and your partner spent like a week on a beach in Mexico to sort of recharge the batteries. I was wondering if you found a way to refresh during the off season in a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, the off season, as much as it's important for physically to get away, I think I would argue, especially for goalkeepers, it's very important to get away from it mentally, So as you see behind me, me and my family, we've been blessed to be able to move to Bainbridge Island and kind of get that daily dose of nature. But yeah, we were able to go on a small vacation too and try to do it safely, and get away from it as well, because as much as this season again has been pushed back a little bit, once it starts, it's gonna be pretty wild and pretty crazy. So you're gonna have to make sure you're ready for it. Also spent a little bit of time again on art. That's something that balances me out, as all you guys know. So it's been good. It's been good. Also, just to once you have your body ready again, the last two games of the season, I played with a bit of an injury. I had a tear in my adductor, so it was important to really let that heal. But once that was good to go again, then it was a good time to maybe reshape my body a little bit. Go down in weight, but gain a little bit of explosiveness. So I was able to do that as well. So all good off season, but ready to go swinging it and get another chance at a trophy this year.
Right on. And then I think back in January, Garth mentioned that you guys were in advanced negotiations for a contract extension. Just looking for an update on that.
I know Garth likes to just kind of keep these things to himself, but I we were able to come to an agreement with me personally. I don't make it a secret that my family and I, we love it here. We've been accepted here as adopted Seattleites very, very quickly, and we love it here. My wife has found an amazing team to work with for herself as well here in Seattle. So and the dogs love it. So it was a no-brainer for me to try to stay here if it was possible, and we were able to come to an agreement that keeps me here for a decent amount to hopefully get some more chances at trophies for this team and myself.
Right on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Steph, last year was a great year for the team, making it back to the finals. But did the outcome in that game, the loss, is that fuel for the team going into this season?
Of course, I mean, it should. And for me personally, it definitely does, because, as an athlete, you in a team sport, there's a legacy you'll leave behind, and that legacy will be how many trophies you were able to help put in a trophy cabinet for your squad. And not too many teams, not too many players get opportunities to play for trophies. So we've had an extremely high standard, and that's something to be proud of. But the standard is not your legacy. The trophies will be. So for us to get into finals is great because it gives us opportunities. But we gotta take care of those opportunities. So unfortunately, another missed opportunity. I think lessons to be learned yet again, that I think we needed to just take maybe 3 points somewhere else during the season. I mean, one that sticks out is Chicago at Orlando. That game, we get those 3 points there, and we're playing this final at home. It's a completely different game, and probably makes it much easier to take care of this opportunity and grab it. It's tough, but still feel blessed that we had it, and hopefully it's something to get guys, spur them on and get them going to have another chance at it, and hopefully at home in front of our fans.
Other questions, guys?
I got one. Alex, what are you eating?
I'm glad you asked. I thought somebody else is going to call me out on it, so I'm glad you did, Steph. It's a rice cake.
Nice.
Delicious. That's why I was off camera. Forgive me, but yeah, I had to get a snack here, man. I was getting lightheaded. Jay Mitch, you got another one?
Yeah, I guess if no one else does. Steph, I was just wondering how the conversion is looking to you for Nuhu at left back. Does he look pretty natural?
Yeah, I think it's been really good from what I've seen with him. Nuhu is an absolute freak of an athlete. He loves to take those one-on-one challenges that he gets on the wing when he was a left back, when he got pushed up higher a little bit too. But sometimes in the back, what you have to let go through your head is risk versus reward, right? The further back you play, the less risks you can take. And I think him having to now wrestle with being a left center back, if you will, has kind of made him start think about those things. And it's a good thing for his development, him personally and for us as a team, because just because he's starting to think a bit more conservatively doesn't mean that he loses his athletic abilities by any means. He's an absolute athlete, So it's a good thing for him, I think, personally, and so far it's been great. I think he's responded well. For me as a goalkeeper too, I think your center backs are kind of like your first chess pieces you move around. So you have to really be very close with them in terms of communication. And I think he's got a bit of a dose in preseason of what that means. And so it's been really good for him to use his brain and kind of become also a little bit louder in terms of communication and start making some moves in the lines in front of him as well. So I'm very happy with what I've seen and hope it continues.
On that same line there, Steph, have you seen growth? What have you seen out of Javier Arriaga? He is going into, I believe, his third year, and he's had some ups and downs in his time here. What have you seen out of him this season?
Well, hopefully in the season I'll see some good stuff. But in the preseason so far, I've seen, I think with the three again, if you're going to five in the back with two or wing backs, and so making it three in the back, that communication becomes very, very key. And sometimes for players that English is not their first language, they don't find it necessary to maybe initiate that, take a hold of it and start organizing. But I have to say Gonzo and Jimmy have worked extremely hard to try to get our center backs to really take the initiative and take charge when it comes to communication of, does our line step? Does our line realize there's no pressure on the ball? Are we aware of our space behind us? Are we shifting over properly? Are we leaving ourselves too vulnerable with a 1v1? Do we need someone to come cover, And so all those things really have started to wear off on him in terms of really coming out of a shell and starting to communicate a little bit more. So that's really good to see. And so I hope that translates into a good season from him. But obviously a good player and an important part for us. We have some depth at center back now, which is great, right? It creates a bit of competition. If we want three, Nuhu is now entering the mix. We have Shane in there. We have Javi. We obviously have Yeimar as well. So it creates a little bit of competition, which should be good and healthy for the squad.
And in a year where you're dealing with obviously some key injuries to Jordan Morris, where perhaps there's some positions with some lack of depth, I wanted your take on the league champs. Oh my goodness, the Cup of Leagues. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the tournament you'll be playing with the Mexican teams.
Leagues Cup.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Who knows what it's called? I know what you're talking about.
My apologies.
No worries. So, my opinion on it, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a very congested season already. This gets added in. If I'm not mistaken, I think after the first 3 games or so, I think it also gets decided who makes it into the next rounds of the Open Cup. So, these are all opportunities to do really well. So we definitely don't want to say, no, we don't want to deal with that, and we want to focus on the season. But it's a lot. It's a lot. The good thing is we've had a lot of young guys that are now part of the first squad that have been with us throughout the whole preseason, and they're part of the squad. They've done quite well, and I think there's going to be ample amounts of opportunity for them to contribute. We definitely want to do well there because if there's one thing, we talked about this when we were watching the CONCACAF games, the last stage that just concluded after, I think it was that crazy tackle that one of the players had on the Philly guy. That's CONCACAF, and unfortunately that's the one negative for me on CONCACAF. The refereeing, I'm going to get fined here, tends to be very inconsistent, but the overall, the rest of it is an incredible experience, right? You get to go to amazing places, very difficult circumstances. Sometimes you get to go to Mexico and play against amazing teams. So that in all of that, it's an amazing experience for someone like me, an older guy, or for a young player. So this tournament is no different. It gives us an amazing opportunity to possibly play against some good teams, and show what maybe whoever's going to be on the field, show what they can do, but also get something out of it. So I'm looking forward to it. We just got to make sure we do it smart so that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot with unnecessary injuries. That's going to really derail all the other whatever possibilities that we find ourselves to actually find some win some trophies.
Hey,
Thanks,
Steph, the vaccine is ramping up, and people will be eligible here in the state here shortly. Was curious, as a team, have you guys discussed that, and do you have any message just generally for people getting vaccinated out there?
Yeah, well, so disclosure, I'm not an expert at any of this, so don't take my word for it. But I think if you can get your vaccine, please do it. I mean, for us, we've been very fortunate because Cornish, our head athletic trainer, he was trying to collect data to make sure that we were all kind of just to feel out the team, see where everybody's at. What are their feelings about it? Would people want to get it? And then fortunately, we were contacted as a squad that there was some Pfizer's, I think it was leftovers from a second dosage from the older population that was going to go to waste. And we were able, for the most part, get the first round going on most players. So that's a very good thing. With that being said, still got to be very smart. The pandemic is not over. So you have to do your social distancing. You have to wear your mask. We saw some counties having to go back to level 2 where I think when we announced that we were going to have fans in our home opener, I saw fans be extremely excited, but I was super happy too. But I also didn't want to sit here and already be too excited because something like this could happen. We know King County just barely escaped that. I think, what was it? I can't remember what the numbers were, but we barely escaped it. We almost went back to phase 2. So luckily we can get some fans, but a lot of work to be done to make sure that we can all make it through this safely. But if you can get your vaccine, I think, especially with, 15th tomorrow, when you're over 15 or 16, you can go get it. So please go out there, get it, and be smart, be safe, keep wearing your mask, and keep doing your thing.
Hey, Stefan, it's Kendra D. St. Aubin with Minnesota United. Just looking ahead to the match on Friday night. From your vantage point on the pitch, what makes a number 10 like Emmanuel Reynoso so dangerous? And you have Nico Ladera on your side, so you understand playing against him in practice and training. But what makes it so hard to keep track of a number 10 like that and what he's going to do on the pitch?
I think it's twofold. For one, his skill is obvious. I think he's a very crafty player. He can pick out the passes. He can finish it himself. But it has to go hand in hand with the rest of the squad. He's not the type of guy who's going to do the grueling work and backtrack for 80 yards. So it works for them because they have the likes of Ozzy Alonso. They have Grey Goose, who does a lot of work. They have, Trap covers a lot of ground. Laud up top covers a lot of ground. So there's a lot of guys who do the dirty work, and they allow someone like a playmaker who maybe is more comfortable at finding the pockets and picking his times to be very efficient. So we're well aware of that because he's lethal. He's lethal on set pieces as well. Very, very dangerous. So we got to make sure that hopefully we can force him to defend a lot, to have to run a lot, to be uncomfortable a lot. So that he doesn't find his game, because if he does, he's a handful. So we definitely know what he brings to the table, and we're aware of that. Yeah.
And my second question is just on Christian Roldan. I know there's so much focus outwardly on Nico Ladera and what he brings, but you look at Roldan's minutes and what he's meant to the Seattle club. What can you say about Roldan and what makes him so special to you guys?
Well, for one, just in the same token there, what I was just describing before with some of the strengths on the Minnesota squad, I think Roldan tends to be one of the guys that runs the most for us on the squad during the game. So He's got an engine on him. He is not afraid to use it and use it to exhaustion. I think he puts the team first. So he really works his butt off. He's very versatile. When we have to have, let's say a right back goes down, he's played right back for us. Right winger, he's played right winger for us. Midfield, he's familiar with that. He knows those things. He knows what's expected of him in those positions. So he's very versatile. And then obviously on top of that, I think he's got good pace. He's got he sees the game quite well. Just covers a lot of ground. And if the guy that has to cover him is not willing to do the same kind of work, then we'll find him in good spots.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Steph, is that a Storm jersey or Storm hoodie?
You got it.
Cool. Cool.
Got a rip.
Steph, can you dunk?
Heck no. I'm 35. I can barely get above the crossbar at this point.
I've seen Matt Winter throw one down, so I figured you could jump a couple more inches than Matty, but that's why I asked.
No chance.
Matt's tall though.
Maybe back in high school. My knees were way better back then, but not anymore.
Fair enough.
Steph, you did mention your as far as your age and everything and the injury. How do you feel though, as far as going into the season? You guys do have some backups, at keeper. How's Spencer and Steph, evolving, and how do you feel as far as being able to make it through another season, making every start like you did the past two?
Yeah. Well, first, for myself, as I've been getting older, actually, I've missed less and less games. So, I've accrued injuries throughout these years, but they've never held me really back. I've been able to fight through them and play through them. So they're smaller injuries, so that's a good thing. I think it's very important to be able to be available for teams, and obviously I want to play every minute. That the minutes are precious. I think the older you get, the more you realize that at some point this will be done. So I want to play every minute possible. But with that being said, our coaching staff knows what's best for the squad. So with different competition, with a very congested schedule. Maybe there will be a time here and there to give someone else an opportunity. I'm not sure. I trust them, but I'm ready. I'm going to train like I'm going to play every single game, every minute, and try to do the best I can. With that being said, I know that we're very deep at this position. They've done a very good job in getting Spencer in. Cleveland is still here. Amazing goalkeeper too. I'm very happy with the work we've been able to put in. And the dynamics we were able to establish. We feed off each other quite well, all three of us. We actually even have Tacoma goalkeeper with us right now as well, who's doing quite well. He's much taller than all the other three goalkeepers, so different posture, but it gives you a different look too, right? There's not one specific way of goalkeeping. Everybody's completely different, so it's really nice to get different types of body, different types of goalkeepers in, and then be able to kind of assess, well, why does that work? Can I maybe steal some of that and move some of this into my game? So it's been great. Our preseason has been fantastic. I think Tommy's been happy with it as well, and we'll continue to try to keep moving forward as a unit.